All right, another week in the books and we're back at it. Now, in my last video, I talked about going in a new direction and hiring another coach. Now, I've talked about hiring coaches in the past, and you guys are used to how I go by now. I go on a training program, in some cases for not a very extended amount of time. In this last case, working with TSA for the last 2 years or so. And then what I do is I make the decision where I want to try something different. Usually what that means going into my own programming, which I only stick with it for a couple of months and then decide to get back on track, because I honestly think that hiring and paying a coach is probably one of the best things you can do. And a lot of people don't understand because they think that, oh, you can program and you know how to make training progress. Why would you want a coach? And I think that's oftentimes a misconception. And I think if you talk to anybody who's good at what they do, they have someone there to help them out. And powerlifting is the same thing. I find that most people have the tendency to kind of fall back on what they're comfortable with or only do certain things, and they're not very objective when they're doing their own programming. So getting a second set of eyes on there can always help. So that being said, I've decided to work with Brett Gibbs, the Gibber, if you will. And the way this really came about a year or so ago, Brett Gibbs was in town working with Nick Wright, who he's been coaching for a while now, and he's also made some tremendous progress with Nick, which is obviously also really cool to see. But on one of those days, I had slid into Brett's DMs. And yes, don't let it fool you the fact that I'm an old man and I'm married and I've been in a relationship since the time I got onto YouTube. When this old man slides into someone's DMs, some action definitely happens. But I let him know, I'm like, hey, I'm on a deload week this week. I'm not really training, but if you're around, would love to grab a beer or some food or whatever, just let me know. And it so happened that he hit me back. And him and I went out and grabbed some food, some drinks, and hung out and talked about everything from powerlifting to programming to MMA to New Zealand. And I really liked and shared a lot of the same thoughts and philosophies he had with his own programming. And I know he takes a lot of pride in coaching. And I thought to myself at that time, if I have the opportunity to work with him at some point in the future, it's definitely something that I wanted to take him up on. And that's exactly what I did. And what you're seeing here are some brief highlights from the week, or lowlights, depending on if you think what I'm lifting is impressive or not. It's definitely going to get there, but a lot of these movements that you're seeing here are things that I'm not normally used to, or kind of just in a way that I'm not used to doing them. So like deadlifting fairly heavy and then going to do beltless squats. I'm just not accustomed to that. And I'll give you guys some more insight on the actual programming as the weeks go on, but I'm really just kind of to try to get adjusted here and get a feel for things. And this week definitely kicked my ass, going back to more a lot of RPE sets than back off sets and load drops and just stuff I haven't done in the last couple of weeks. So again, it's just gonna get some time to get acclimated to it and make the right decisions and calls, but I am looking forward to it and should be a good time going forward. So overall, the week went really good. I think for the most part, my deadlifts felt pretty on point this week. Didn't go anything over about 530 pounds, but the last couple of months, my deadlifts have been feeling really off. So it's good to see that they felt pretty good despite not going that heavy, so confidence is starting to come back there. Bench press also felt a little bit better this week. In this case, what you're watching right now are just some 4-second eccentrics portions of it, which is really tough for me to kind of control, and I know I suck at pausing, so hopefully this is going to help in the future. And squats felt really good too. Like I said, there's some beltless work earlier, some other rep work throughout the course of the week, and I think the top single or top weight we used was something around like I want to say like 215 kilos, which isn't necessarily heavy, but felt good, moved good. So looking forward to continue on working with Brett. And like I said, I'll fill you guys in more as the weeks continue.